Let's talk dirt. I'm Cassie and welcome back to the land. I'm out here in the wind and the dirt to talk a little dirt. We have a northern blowing in, so the time outside is going to be limited here shortly. So I just wanted to get in a little bit of time talking about where we're going with the soil around here. We have tried to grow things for a few years and haven't been real successful at it. So this year we decided we were going to do some soil testing and see what was really going on underneath. So about 20 seconds after I said we have a northern blowing in, the temperature dropped about 20 degrees. So we're going to talk about dirt on the inside today. So why is the health of your soil so important? Obviously, your plants won't grow well. You won't get the fruit that you want. They don't thrive. But more importantly, when you do get food, how nutritious is it? The soils on the earth have been depleted. There's not the nutrients in the soil that there were years ago. Back with our grandparents and great-grandparents, the food that came out of the land was nutrient dense. That density has been taken down to nothing. We should be able to pick up a vegetable, pick up a fruit, eat that, and our bodies be full. It requires us to eat more food and more calories because the food's not nutrient dense. So yes, it would be easier to go to the grocery store, buy a bunch of carrots, and eat those and eat twice as many. So if your soil's not healthy, if it's not nutrient dense, then your food's not going to be nutrient dense. It requires you to eat more. That's my perspective anyway. And from what I can gather from the research I've done on why it's important and why I feel like that it's important for us to attempt to the best of our abilities to make as much of our own food as possible, because we know what's going into it. So, having said that, we did the soil testing to figure out what's not in the ground. So we had the testing done in the three main gardens that we are planning on using this year. We had our ideas of which ones were going to turn out good and which ones were going to be bad and kind of what the results might be. We were wrong. So let's take a look at the three results that we got.
Okay, so this is a graph comparison of all three of the samples we had done. The melon patch, the main garden, and the road garden. So between the green bars here, that's going to be the optimal level. That's where you want it to be, somewhere in there. If you look at the first three nutrients, this is your nitrogen, your phosphorus, and your potassium. Those are the three things that the plants really have to have. So, as you can see, the nitrogen, there's nothing. There's nothing in the soil, and that wasn't a big surprise. That was expected. Same thing with the phosphorus and the potassium. I was pretty surprised that two of the areas, the melon patch and the road garden, both had a sufficient amount of potassium in there. If I understand this correctly on how these work, the nitrogen is used for, that's how you get your big greens, all of the green tops of the plants. That's the nutrient used for that, which that then in turn feeds the roots. That's where the phosphorus comes in. That is good for the root health, and that's what they need. And then your potassium, that's where your fruiting comes in. So I don't know the whole science of it all. I'm not sure of, but I know that we have not enough of most of that. So that's an area we have to definitely work on. Now the next three things, this is sulfur, your calcium, and the magnesium. I don't know what this is about. No clue. And I don't really know if that amount of sulfur in that road garden and the amount of calcium in all three, if that is detrimental to the plants, if it hurts anything, changes anything. If you know, I'd be interested and would love to hear from you. If you want to put that down in the comments and let me know what you think, that would be great. The other ones, of course, and again here, the zinc, I don't know, in the one area it's just off the charts. Don't know how that is. The other thing, what that was a little surprising, was the pH. It looks like all three areas, it's on the high side of okay, which makes the ground a little bit alkaline, on the high side of normal. So I'm not sure if you have any opinions or know a little bit more about the scientific part back behind this and want to share, that would be awesome. So what was really interesting to me was the nutrient density scores. This is estimated. So this is what this particular lab is estimating, that how much nutrients we have in the soil for the plants to uptake. And we range from 30% on one up to 53%. I was a little surprised at the 53%, not too surprised at the 30%. What was surprising to me and Stephen both was which gardens were which, because we fully expected, we took all three samples before we sent them in and laid them out, and he tried to guess which one was which, and he guessed right. We have worked that main garden area a lot more than any of the other areas. We've put more organic matter down in that ground than we have in the other areas, so we just thought that that was going to be the one, and it was going to be great. We assumed that the road garden was going to be horrible because it was so much clay and it was horrible, and we had just started working on it this year. Well, that's not how it turned out. This 53 is the road garden. This 30 is the main garden. It was complete opposite of what we thought. And then here our melon patch falls right in the middle. Okay, so now we're armed with a little bit more information. All those test results let us know exactly where the soil stands, but what do we do with that? We don't know. We're going to try to figure that out. I have a tendency to get a little bit bogged down with the science and the specific levels and all of that. So I'm going to try not to do that here, and go with what we do know. We do know there is not enough organic matter in the soil. We know that we've only seen one spot that has a few worms. We know that there's probably not much microbial life in the soil. So we need to do things to build that up. And in part of our plan for this year is to experiment with cover crops. And that's the main thing we're going to be doing in that road garden, is trying to build the soil up there with cover crops, and then just use the other two areas for our food growing this year. We have a few other ideas to try other than the cover crops to help build the soil, but if you guys have any suggestions or can offer some help on that, we would love to hear from you and let us know what's worked for you or didn't work for you, especially if you live in the North Texas area and have had some of these same issues. We would greatly appreciate the help there. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked what you've seen and you want to see more, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have a dream, you have a goal, you have a passion that you're not attending to, I want to say just do it. And what are you waiting for?